Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In Between the Stitches. As always, I'm your host, Brady Wilson. And as we watch Josh Sborz give up a 2-run home run here, so we do have the Rangers are playing baseball right now, and it is on TV. So it's on the Dodgers, the Sportsnet. So literally, like right as I said, "Hello, everybody," like he swung, and of course we both looked like, "Oh boy, that's out." So it's 2-0 Dodgers, top of the fifth. Hey, Sborz won us the World Series. I think we can excuse this. It was just like a fastball that just got hit.
Yeah. And guess what? It's spring training. It's okay.
It's spring training. Oh, that was a freaking rocket, dude. That he definitely got all of that one. Anyway, and no, I don't know who hit it because I don't know his name. It is not someone I recognize. Pages. I don't know the Dodgers depth chart enough to know who that is. Sorry to my Dodgers fans, but to other sports, as we do have this on, so there may be a chance if something crazy happens, we may go, "Oh, hey." The Dallas Stars. Start with them. They did not have a great night last night. 5-1, got clobbered by Colorado. Just unfortunate. You know, I remember I looked up. I think it was 1-0 to start, and I looked up. Oh, Colorado's either that or 1-1. I'm like, okay, and then I look up again. It's like 4-1.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, it just was not our night, and you know that happens. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Lost to the Islanders and the Avs. He said they're 35-17-9, second Central, third in the West. They face Winnipeg at 7 p.m. tomorrow at home to close out this. Again, we talked about this coming into the month. Is obviously tomorrow is the leap year day, so you know we talked about this coming into the month that they're going to have some problems potentially this month because of the fact that they had so many road games. And, you know, they didn't look, it hasn't been the best of months, you know. I mean, you lost 4 in a row, and then you beat Carolina, and then you've lost 2 in a row. So you have not had the best string. You started out okay. You started out 3-1, and then 4-1, actually, and then that big losing streak. So, you know, it happens. I believe that next month we do have a few more home games. I see a little more green on there, including 5 straight home games. Between March 12th to March 22nd. So, hey, that feels, you know, I like our odds in that. So they just need to keep playing hockey. I mean, you know, they just need to keep playing. I mean, they're not playing well right now, but I think, you know,
we knew this was a brutal month coming into it.
They've had some injuries too. Yeah. They've had some guys to be out. I saw that Stankoven, you know,
2 goals.
Yeah. Andy Page, that's right. Okay, well, whoever, whatever. Who cares? No, but I think that, you know, we've had some injuries, had some ups and some downs this month, and I think getting to March will be important to, you know, finishing out the rest of the season strong.
Yeah. Gonna have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Now the Mavs. And by the way, when they get to the playoffs, I feel pretty strongly that we're probably gonna be top 4 seeds, so be home field a few times at least.
Home ice.
Oh, have you just a quick baseball tangent? So, you know, last year they did the storylines with the Negro Leagues, and they had, you know, Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro League Museum, wonderful baseball guy. Like, he's just so much fun to listen to. I could listen to him talk for hours about the stories he has. And so this year they're doing like season 2 with like Josh Gibson and a couple others, so that they have like a commemorative copy, and it's like newspaper themed.
Yeah,
it's like
it looks really cool.
Really cool. I may get the physical copy just for that. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to get the game.
Anyway, this is not a video game podcast. To the Mavericks. What a heartbreaker. I mean, there's luck. It was just really bad luck last night when you lost to a half-court 3.
Yeah.
Just, what are you going to do?
Nothing you can do about it. And it was, you know, Max Strus, you know, give him all the credit in the world. He went 6 for 6 in 3 minutes of play at the end of the 4th quarter.
Yeah, because I was listening to the Get Right. And they were like, "Oh, Mavs are up like 7 with like 5 minutes to go or something like that."
It was 10 with 3 minutes or 4 minutes, and out of nowhere they hit 2 shots in a row. They get a couple stops, and they do not miss. And a lot of stuff went their way. There was, you know, I don't like to blame officiating a lot when it comes to when we lose, but last night was really, really bad. There was a lot of, you know, points taken off the board, or 5 points from Kyrie in 2 plays. An offensive foul when a Cavalier, I forget who it was grabbing his arm, and they called an offensive foul, a hook on Kyrie, and he made the layup. And then there was a play where he had a continuation layup, which was clearly an and one, and they called it on the floor, and then they reviewed it for a clear path foul, and that was also not confirmed. So it was just a basic foul, and we ended up not scoring off the play.
Basically, just a lot of fluky stuff.
Just a lot, yeah. Very unfortunate.
Didn't go
loss.
our way.
And then, unfortunately, losing the way that we did in a game that we needed to win versus a really, really good team. People seem to forget that Cavaliers are second in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
They're a very good team. They won not too long ago, 17 out of 19 games.
I think people are just, if you didn't watch them in the late 80s and early 90s, then you don't think of the Cavs as a winning franchise if they don't have LeBron.
Exactly. Right.
So just some people don't realize that, which is very fair, because other than that time in the late 80s, early 90s, and did he catch that? No, he didn't.
No,
okay. Ezekiel Duran with what looks like a triple. Yeah, triple of the gap. And
love to see that.
Those uniforms look so bad. Ours on the front don't look as bad, but the names, they look like they decreased the font size a couple, and it just looks bad. Anyway, Mavs.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, listen, we're watching our team. We got to talk about it. But
the first time I think we've watched Rangers baseball since. Chase, what happened? I can't remember, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Mavs, just nothing went your way, I think, last night. And that happens. You're going to have games like that. It's unfortunate. Thankfully, it happened to a good team, so you can go, it happened to, like you said, the Cavs are a good team. And,
nice.
And a wild pitch, and Duran scores. That could have been a pass ball. I didn't see if it was catcher's fault. It was a wild pitch.
Yeah, it looked like it.
So pitcher's fault. And, so you're going to have that. If it was against the Pistons, you're a little more pissed because
you don't want to be in that situation anyway.
You lost to the freaking Pistons, and they're having their own stuff with coach and just it's very dysfunctional right now. It feels like every time I see Detroit Pistons pop up on my phone, it's someone's pissed off about something.
They have gotten really unlucky. Their losses, they should not be the worst record in the league. I think the Wizards are a worse team. But anyways, unfortunate loss for the Mavericks. We got to bounce back. We have a game today. Happy birthday, Luka.
Yes, sir.
He is a big, whopping 25 years old.
He's still qualified for the 25 and under list.
Unbelievable that he's done all this. Like, I looked at the comment section of NBA's post this morning, and they posted for his birthday, and everybody's like, so you're telling me he was doing this all before turning 25 years old? And when you think about it, it's unbelievable. You can debate him as a Hall of Famer already, even without all the accolades, before he even turned 25 years old.
Yeah, but it's still impossible. He has really just been special. I think, it's hard to say he'll go down as the best player in franchise history. His entire career here.
Got to win one.
He's got to win one, because if he doesn't win one, Dirk willed us to
He'll
that
have the
championship.
argument. He won a championship.
So
he's got to win one.
He's got to win one. So we'll see. We will see with the Mavericks, but I think they're playing. They've looked better.
They look really good.
They've looked more confident. They've looked more. They just look like they don't look like they're insecure about their ability to win basketball games anymore.
The key is health, and as I mentioned, health. Dante Exum probable tonight, so there should be no.
He's had a career resurgence with us. I know he went to.
He was somewhere overseas.
I know he was either Europe or.
Yeah, he was somewhere overseas, and Maz gave him a chance, and he's looked really, really, really good. And I'm excited to have him back. Not only for that, third option on the floor when it comes to scoring. He's a really good defender, and he's going to have that defensive presence out there and really take. Hardaway's been on, been in a slump, and he's been really struggling. So he'll take some minutes off the floor from Hardaway, which is nice. And there's nobody, I think, on the injury report for tonight. I think everybody's good to go. And this is a team where you got to win, because you really don't want to lose to Toronto. Not that they're a terrible team, but you have a day off tomorrow, and then you go to Boston on Friday.
Right. And
that'll be a tough one. And you're not going to be expected to win. So you don't want to have, you don't want to have a 3-game losing streak going into Boston.
No.
So you really got to find a way to win this game and shake off what happened last night, and go from there. But it's all one game at a time. Everybody's still extremely close in the standings. One loss hopefully won't determine your season. And bounce back tonight. I believe 6:30, 6 o'clock.
All right.
6 o'clock game time.
6:30. Yes.
6:30.
And to I just had a thought and it just escaped me. Oh, to end it here on a good note, that Suns game was a lot of fun, because that was what we were talking.
Was that the night?
Yeah,
that was that last Wednesday.
That was last Wednesday. It was the next night was the Phoenix game.
Okay.
So I definitely wanted to, at least, so we can end on something happy here for the Mavs. 123-113. Really just, I think they looked like a really, really good team against a good Suns team.
Yeah, it's a great Suns team. And that led to the 7-game win streak.
Yeah, that was the capper.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, again, they looked, it happens. This is, basketball and hockey are a little bit on the weirder side because baseball is 162 games.
Right. Everyone's going to lose. Everyone's going to win.
When you lose to the A's,
it happens.
It happens. I was there I was there for a game we lost to the A's.
It happens.
Like it happens. You're gonna lose games, right? It's how you can't get too high, too low. Football, there's 17 games, so each one definitely means a lot more. But basketball and hockey have the weird medium, where the games mean something, but you're gonna lose 20, 30, 40 games, but they still feel really important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just kind of feels like a weird, but...
Like, right now in the Mavs, we got 25 games left.
It's 25? Okay.
Now, you got to win. You got to win.
Yeah, you have to start winning games. That's why I think the unluckiness really hurts.
Yeah,
just because...
that scenario that happened last night where a player goes 6 for 6 in 3 minutes and hits a 60-footer to win the game, that's a once-in-a-few-seasons unlucky, type scenario. So you got to just find a way to shake it off. I'm sure, Kid and the players were talking, you got to just move. That's something you just got to move on from and not think about it and just go on to the next.
Right. Like you said, it was just really, really...
reliable Jankowski.
El Blondie with a single. So now it is 2-2, unless that runner on third was a runner on... No, it's 2-2. So Janko drives in a run there. It's 2-2, bottom of the fifth. We had a play earlier where Gavin Lux just freaking threw a sinker to the first baseman and went to the dugout. So, hey, Rangers are coming back here, and I wanted to say, Chase, if you look right behind the catcher and umpire there's a bit of a glare, but I think that says World Series champion.
I see it.
And, I think, but last thing on the Mavericks, it is a once-in-a fluky thing, and they happen. So you just regroup, move on. Hey, we win games, and the last thing you want, though, is, and what you hope does not happen, is, it comes down to one game, and that was the game you could have won. That's because, the Rangers, if they had lost one more game,
they don't make the playoffs.
And they wouldn't make the playoffs because the Mariners have it. The Mariners have it over. So it's one of those, like, when you rewatch those games, when people say this, and it really, I don't know if it bugs you as a basketball fan, because I don't know if they say this to basketball fans. They say to baseball fans, oh, well, those games in April, they don't really matter. Yeah, they do. The games in baseball matter in hindsight. So what I implore people to do is take that feeling of, okay, this is probably going to matter in a couple months, this game, and just think about it in like a future tense. Like, you know what I mean?
The games where DeGrom pitched, they mattered, and he won.
And we won all 6. We were 6-0 in games that Jacob DeGrom started.
Right. That matters.
And he won 2. He was 2-0. So people say, well, he didn't contribute. Yeah, he did.
He did.
Every single, when you're a team, now if you're a team like the Orioles, you won 101 games. Even then, you still only won the division by 2 games.
Right.
If you don't win the division, everything changes, right? So it's just everything happens for a reason in a season. Hopefully the Mavs don't take it to heart, but we'll just have to see how they rebound.
Just bounce back tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
And then see if you can shock the world in Boston, where they've only lost, I believe, 1 or 2 games.
And Elliot Hernandez, he caught it. I thought it was getting down. It was a good hit. Anyway, as we've been saying, there's a glare somewhere on that TV there, and it says the Rangers are World Series champions. And again, we will not be letting folks forget that. Is there anything else in basketball you wanted to get to?
No significant injuries, trades are obviously over. Signings,
nothing.
No, just gotta win.
All right.
Yeah.
And again, so Rangers spring training, I think we're 3rd or 4th in Cactus League, because it matters so much if we win these Cactus League games.
Yeah, it matters.
Astros, I think we're last in the Grapefruit League, by the way. I think they're like 1-4 last time I checked.
Oh no,
it's glorious. Anyway, they even lose in spring training. No, but for the Rangers, there hasn't been much news. People are overreacting a little bit to Wyatt Langford not hitting 8 home runs in his first 8 at bats, whatever. It's spring training. He's not in full season form yet. He's still getting back in, that baseball shape. Hitters take 2 to 3 weeks to get back on game speed. and then they're fine, right? So I mean that's why when the people tried to bring up the whole, oh, the players were rusty in the playoffs, it really bothered me because these guys go several months and then only need 2 to 3 weeks. So you can't tell me that, going less than a week would really affect them. Anyway, maybe affect some players, but stay on time. Keep working out. But I think, and of course, MLB Network's doing their 30 teams in 30 days. I don't know if they've done the Rangers yet. I think they do like the World Series champion last. So I'll just tell you, it'll definitely be a lot of fun to watch, and because they'll be bringing it up every single time they interview a player. Well, you guys won the World Series. How does it feel? It was, I'm sure it feels great. But and so if you've seen on YouTube, the Rangers are putting out an all-access thing, similar to kind of a mini Hard Knocks type of thing.
Yes.
And so the first one was out, and it was really cool. Chris Young was talking about the standard, and for people, I saw some people saying, well, they're talking about winning, but they won't re-sign Montgomery. Dude, I want people to realize this if they don't already do. We're over the luxury tax already. It's not like we're pushing up. No, we're over it. And the more years you go over it consecutively, the more they start taking away. They'll start taking away draft picks. They'll find, there's a lot of things to pay for going over. And so they just don't really want to, unless now I still think that Montgomery, he sounds like he really wants to come back. And the Rangers are just like, why wouldn't you want to come back? He strikes me as the type of guy that wants to, run it back and try to win one. I texted you when Bellinger signed. I think you asked me, hey, would this...
Yeah, I get the idea. Pitch idea is does he get 4 for 100 or 2 for 50? Or
I expect 2 or 3 with an opt-out after the first year, probably. Because that's what I think frustrates me about this whole thing is, okay, if you're Montgomery or you're Boris, take a shorter term deal with and say, I will take less money, but I want an opt-out after the first year. So that way, if you have another great year, come back in free agency next year.
Mm-hmm.
It bothers me that and if you don't want to, don't opt out. It's your choice to opt out. Then you have all that money. So I don't know. I think it will, dominoes will fall, but Matt Chapman unsigned, Blake Snell unsigned. There's still a few others, I think, past these guys that are not signed. It just is. I don't know if this is the owners doing a preemptive strike on the players because the CBA is coming up. There's always a CBA coming up. But because the last CBA and my dad has voiced his concerns to me about potential strike or lockout that costs season games, if not a full freaking season. I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but there's definitely a lot more animosity than normal, and so that does worry me a little bit. But we'll see. I think Bellinger signing that 3-year deal. I think I didn't see if there was any opt-outs. I assume there were opt-outs.
I don't remember the report.
But yes, it should mean the other guy signed, but I don't know. Well, and again, it's hard to pin this. Well, it's Blake Snell dragging his feet, or it's Boris dragging his feet. I would prefer to say it's Boris because I don't like him. But it's just, we don't really fully know, and we won't know, until maybe they post a documentary about the time Boris held up for agency. I don't know. But, Langford not having a great spring game. He's getting back in shape. That doesn't bother me. Josh Young, he'll be fine. Same thing with Seager, just not worried. But people always overreact to spring training. That's just kind of what people do. And so it's just, you kind of know who's going to be on the roster. I think the interesting thing you're going to watch is Brock Burke is our top lefty coming out of the bullpen. Do you know who the next guy after that is?
Lefty?
Yeah. So there's 2 names that are kind of be fighting for that second spot.
Is it Latz?
No, it's okay. You can throw Latz in there, but Blake Taylor and Chasen Shreve. Yeah. And then Jake Latz. Shreve has been okay, but you didn't re-sign Chapman, so there you go. You don't have Will Smith. So
Bradford in the pen. Then.
Bradford's going to be probably in the rotation if they don't re-sign Montgomery.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is you are going to be thin at lefty in relievers unless you want to go less talent, but lefty, which is possible. Not that Shreve and Taylor and Latz are bad pitchers. They're just not,
They're gone?
That's not gone. Nice catch. Nice catch.
Couldn't tell you who that was.
I can't see his name. I don't know all their faces. It's definitely a minor league guy.
Yeah.
I just can't see who that is. I will get that for everybody. He made a really nice catch. Left fielder going back. He lost it in the sun because then he had to really arc backwards. What's his last name? Turn. Oh, it's Dustin Harris.
Oh, okay.
Dang, kid can play outfield. I know he's a first baseman, but now they're trying to get him outfield work because, well, we kind of have a first baseman. Anyway, yeah, don't overreact to spring training. That's what I want everyone to know. Don't overreact. It's spring training. It's still February, right? As we get closer, you'll see roster cut downs and you'll see guys getting sent to, minor league camp and that happens. Jack Leiter's look good though. And apparently I don't know if he's always had this repertoire. I don't know that word. I hate that word. But he's apparently was throwing a sinker and a cutter.
Okay.
I didn't know he had a cutter. I thought he was fastball, curveball, changeup. I guess maybe he had a cutter. But apparently he's throwing a sinker as well, I think.
So what does he have, a 5-pitch mix?
Maybe. I mean, and he was sitting top, upper 90s, and they were saying he looks good. So he got an aggressive assignment, and it just hasn't worked out as beautiful as maybe you would like it to, and that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this year, Cole Winn has just hit a roadblock. I don't know what's happened to Cole Winn, but we cannot develop pitchers.
No.
There's a reason why Nathan Eovaldi, Montgomery, Scherzer, Gray, Heaney, Dunning wasn't even developed in our system.
Dunning was White Sox, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was coming off Tommy John. We traded for him. He was a prospect. So he did appear in our top 30 prospect list for like a half season. But we just cannot develop pitchers. We just cannot develop pitchers. It is a plague. It is a plague. But there's really not much else with the Rangers. I mean, and there's not much else with baseball. I mean, Yamamoto made his first appearance today, 2 innings, 19 pitches, real freaking efficient. I think Evan Carter had the only hit off of him. Mm-hmm. Ohtani hit a home run yesterday. Simeon goes back-to-back with the Diamondbacks. His last at-bat of the season hits it, and I think his first at-bat of the Diamondbacks hits another home run. So he likes playing Arizona, which is A-okay with me.
Thinking about another Dallas sports guy owning as an Arizona sports guy. Anything come to mind?
Well, yeah, maybe one, maybe a few, maybe Luka Doncic, But I don't hate the Diamondbacks.
No, of course not.
I don't like the Suns.
No, yeah,
I don't like the Suns. But like the Diamondbacks, most of the fans I saw online were like, "Hey, congratulations!"
No, I have nothing against them.
When they won, and of course, you were born in 2001, right? So you were
a little late, but yeah.
Were you alive for the Diamondbacks win?
No.
So you weren't alive for the Diamondbacks win.
A month later, yes.
Neither was I. And but I asked my dad about it, and he was like, he was rooting for them over the Yankees because he's not going to root for the Yankees, even in 2001. Yeah. But I mean, hey, you're not going to root for the Yankees. And then the Diamondbacks, I remember he was like, I don't really want to root for Arizona because they don't deserve this. I've been a fan. My team has been here since the 70s, and we ain't won jack crap. And they get to waltz in here as an expansion team and win one? No, because he said the same thing for the Marlins. I
gotta say, Latz has a great breaking ball.
Latz it's that arm angle.
Yeah.
He's throwing it at. He's really wide, and so yeah, it definitely creates a little deception. He's tall.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really tall guy.
Yeah.
Especially the lefties though, that is nasty. But he almost has a Montgomery angle, which causes it to.
I don't know if it's like a slurve or just a slider.
It's something. But Yamamoto looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean. Here it is, 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks, 19 pitches. Was just the only hit was Evan Carter. Just was pretty nasty, but again, it's February, so we will see what happens when we get to the regular season. I think next week I'm going to bring the journal that I did my award predictions and stuff like that, and we're going to review it.
Okay.
And then we'll eventually make new ones as we get closer to the season.
Yeah, we definitely want to make some season predictions for records for each division.
I think the Rangers are going to have a better season.
What'd you have us at, 15, I think?
I had us at last year?
Mm-hmm.
I had us at 86 wins.
Oh, I just remember like out of your top teams, you had us in,
I had
them
like 12, 15, 16, somewhere in there. I had us above average, above, the 16 or above 15, I think. I think I had us at 15, right? I was right in the middle. That's 86 wins, and I will go and clip the audio and put it on
No,
here.
I remember. I can vouch for you.
No, I think I said I think we could go over 90 if everything goes right. But I was saying 86 with injuries, and we hit 90, with injuries. The last thing on the Rangers, I think people are undervaluing us, and I don't know. I don't see this as much. I don't understand it, right? People are saying, well, the Rangers, they're not picking us to repeat, which is fine. You don't have to pick us to repeat.
When was the last time it happened? 98?
Yankees.
Yeah, right?
2000.
Oh, that was 90. Okay.
When they won, and when they three-peated.
Yeah, so you shouldn't predict
98, 99, 2000.
You shouldn't bet on a team to repeat. I mean, it's not likely.
No, that was the last time a team repeated. It was the Yankees, 2000. So I'm not saying you should bet us to repeat, but people are like, well, they're not the best. People are still, to quote Rodney Dangerfield here, we ain't get no respect. We ain't get no respect. They're still saying we're the third best team in the division.
Yeah, I've seen. I was just about to say. I saw Trevor May, if you know who that is.
Yeah, I love Trevor May. Yeah,
A's closer last year. He has us third in the division. A lot of people are on him about the disrespect. But I mean, if you look at the teams that are there, the Mariners and the Astros, they very well could finish above us. I'm not saying they can't. I just think that we are number one and number two.
At least they're not putting us fourth behind the Angels anymore. Yeah. At least people have smartened up to that.
Well, my prediction, I want to put A's at 4 and Angels at 5. I actually think that the A's have more talent.
You really think that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you're
outside
wrong.
of Trout, I think the A's have more talent.
No, I'm going to respectfully disagree, just because I think
that's fair.
I think they also have a great manager too. I love Wash.
Okay.
I think they have a good manager. Yeah. I like Mark Kotsay.
Yeah.
I think he's done a hell of a job with the situation he's been given, which is he doesn't have
solid
a job.
talent, but AAA players as well.
Yeah, I mean, they have a AAA team in a lot of aspects. And the Angels, I think the Angels are better because they have more prospects that are like Neto and Ohapi that are burgeoning on the surface.
I just saw a lot of promise out of a few A's players last year.
I love Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz is great.
Who was the first baseman for the Angels that they drafted and then he came up to the majors?
Was he with them last year?
Yeah, I cannot remember his name. If you're basically saying you know who I'm talking about,
not Neto.
He looked good last year. So they had some guys that looked really good. I think they're 65, 70 win
Trey
team.
Cabbage?
No, I'll look it up, but. They have Detmers, they have Sandoval, they have Tyler Anderson. So they're not a bad team. They're just not a very good team. And I think they finally have a good manager. I did not think Phil Nevin was all that good of a manager personally, and I guess I was vindicated for that. Just a dysfunctional team. Moreno is an awful owner.
Could be blinded by just having Ohtani.
He's one of the worst owners in baseball. He probably is the worst owner in baseball. I got it here. Shanuel. Nolan Shanuel.
How about that inning from Lats?
That was the guy I'm thinking of. But they got Rengifo, Neto, Brandon Drury. They signed Aaron Hicks, Mickey Moniak, Taylor Ward. They got some hitters.
Okay.
And their pitchers aren't awful. They're just, Griffin Canning and Tyler Anderson, Detmers. They're not outstanding, but they're not like, holy crap, this is just the crap. They're probably a 70-win team. Probably. Somewhere in there. Right? And if the Antichrist of... No. The Antichrist of baseball is Scott Boras. No. The guy who doesn't like baseball. I'll come up with a good nickname for Anthony Rendon. I'll come up with a good one for him, I promise.
Yeah.
Do you see his comments?
Yes.
And again, I actually don't mind I put my family and faith before baseball, because that's understandable. I think if you polled players, I think a majority of them would say I prioritize my family and my faith at least on the level of baseball or more, because you should. That's fine. I'm not going to argue that you shouldn't. However, the part of the quote that irked me wasn't even that one. It was just that baseball is not a priority.
Right.
If you were to say I put my faith first, family second, and baseball third, but I love baseball, I love what I do, then that I can live with that. That it is a job. You do love it, but baseball's only going to be here for so many years. After that, you got family and all that. But it was the fact that he said baseball is not even a priority. It's just a job. I don't like it. That's a problem, because you're not.
You should cut him right there.
But they still got to pay him.
Yeah.
You're not going to go above and beyond. And, some of his former teammates had been calling him out. Like, I know Jonathan Papelbon had, and again, trust the source. It's Jonathan Papelbon, so who knows. But he was saying that he has all the talent in the world, could be one of the best players in baseball, but he doesn't care, he doesn't want to work at it. And he, it feels like that with Anthony Rendon. But the Angels are just dysfunctional. They're just got a lot of problems right now. And, unfortunately, I don't want to say you got to wait for the owner to die, but he's not going to sell the team. Right. So unless he becomes mentally incompetent and his kids take over, or whoever his heir is, maybe he has kids, I'm not sure. What?
Oh, I'm just thinking about an owner not selling a team.
Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Cowboys.
Owners ruin sports. I fully believe. Owners have always, what was it the great Buck O'Neill once said? Baseball, it was someone, I think it was Buck, but I could be wrong. Someone said baseball must be a great sport because the owners haven't managed to kill it yet. And I'm like, well, that's, holy crap, is that true? Owners have been trying to kill this sport for almost, not almost 200, 160 years somewhere. Yeah, 160 years, 150 years. So, anyway, just Rangers, not much else, spring training, stuff like that. But we're going to move to football. It's off season. And, for the Cowboys, I think the biggest news for us was definitely Diggs and Overshown will be ready for I said spring training, for summer training, right. for training camp. And they may not need to go on the PUP list, which is really nice. It just means that they'll be fully ready to go. And that's kind of I've always thought this, if you're going to get a torn ACL to a player, please get it in the first 6 weeks. Because in that way, you'll probably be ready for, the season. As that looks like Harris again gets a nice single there, right field. He's a really good prospect. Mm-hmm. And you know where we got him? So he was from the A's. He was the Mike Minor trade. Yes, he was Mike Minor, I believe. I know we didn't trade him to the A's, but I think it was a great team deal.
Walsh.
Oh yeah, I forgot we signed him. Yep. I like Jared Walsh. I think he's a good player. He had a really nice season a couple years ago, and is just he's gone through some, I don't want to say weird problems, but he's gone through some weird problems, that are off the field things, and that's hey, hopefully he can get back on track with us. I'd be fine if he was potentially a DH. He's a DH option for us, backup first baseman, and he could make the roster. But with football, trying to see here. Yeah, it was Rangers traded Mike Minor to the A's, and we got Marcus Smith, who hasn't played for us, and Dustin Harris. So, I mean, hey, that's
cool.
That's what we got for Mike Minor. I will gladly take, with that for Mike Minor. Anyway, so they're gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready for training camp, which is really nice to see. People are wanting linebacker. Well, you're gonna have one. And knowing how and we had a major league moment here as second baseman didn't find the ball, and it falls in the Bermuda Triangle there in right center field. That was interesting. That was actually really
once
funny.
I saw him moving back like that, I knew it was going to drop.
Well, it's sunny and maybe the wind. I don't know how it is right there in Arizona, but anyway, people are wanting linebacker, and knowing how the Jones boys like to think, they like to think of injured players returning as an addition, which is fair, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do other stuff. So they're going to look at that as, well, we don't need to draft a linebacker because we have Overshown coming back. You probably should still draft a linebacker, but not my decision, unfortunately. Hey, Diggs, hopefully Diggs doesn't have much of a curve coming back.
Right, and people got to realize, especially Cowboy fans, they got to give him some time. You can't just expect Diggs to be Diggs week one.
Terrence Steele took almost a full year to get fully back from the ACL, and even then, he still hasn't really been all that as good as he was before the ACL injury. People, I think because ACLs happen so often in all sports, it's so pervasive that people just think, oh, you're out for a year, you come back and you're fine.
People just know how good Diggs is, and there's going to be people out there that are expecting him to be that all pro from the go.
And some people, some guys, they can come back from injuries and they're better. Some guys come back, they're just as good, and some guys come back and they're worse. Mm-hmm. It happens. You can't predict these things. So you're hoping that Diggs will be back full ready to go. and you're hoping that Overshown, because Overshown makes his money as double play. Overshown makes his money on his speed, his sideline. So you're hoping that doesn't affect him, because you don't want another Jalen Smith situation.
No,
a guy. Not saying he's not smart, because Smith was smart, but not. He didn't know he had awful angles for his tackles, but. We'll see. Hopefully they come back fully healthy and ready to go, and they don't lose too much of a step coming back. And then I think, the only other thing for the Cowboys, besides obviously we could sit here and talk about, well, what are we going to do with the 24th pick and do a bunch of mocks and stuff. But the other big news, Stephen Jones did a presser, or did a media day appearance, and was, talked about some stuff, and they really like Mozzie. And I think this really should show people, okay, Jerry does not run the show anymore. Steven is the head guy. He's the man in charge. Jerry is the guy that everyone thinks. I really believe this now, and it's starting to become more clear to me, is that Steven runs it. Jerry probably still has to say yay or nay, but Steven's the one actually making it. And Jerry just kind of says, whatever you decide, you do it. Like, you don't have to look at me. I don't know. Jerry's ego's pretty large, so maybe he does. Anyway, Steven is running the show, and I think that's worse. Because at least Jerry played. I think Steven played football, but it's just I don't want Steven in charge. I don't want Steven in charge. I don't think he's good. I don't, because he believes that you have to. At least Jerry used trades and free agency. Deion Sanders, right? He traded for Roy Williams, traded for Joey Galloway, Terrell Owens. Jerry liked the splash moves. Steven does not. Steven does not like the splash moves. Steven would rather build to the draft and hope that he gets lucky when, hit in on the dumpster bin free agents. I call them the Dollar General free agents. No, you're not shopping, a nice store, you're shopping at Dollar General. And that's what they like to do. And it's frustrating because your team is good and you're worried your owner's son, because he's a nepotism guy, isn't going to be able to effectively run your football team. So we'll see. I think Dak's going to get extended. Micah,
they need to do it quickly.
They will. I'm not worried. I'm just hoping that Steven. What worries me is that there are rumors that Steven really does not know how to negotiate contracts, and that Jerry has to be the guy that comes in, and because Jerry takes care of his players. Right. He does. It's always taking care of his guys, and because even former players talk about this. Former players, love the fact that Jerry still takes care of them even after they retire. And apparently, I remember who it was, but they basically insinuated that DeMarcus Lawrence got pissed off at Steven, and Jerry had to come in and smooth things over for him to come back. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. If Steven can't negotiate, then it doesn't matter if you draft well, because you're going to have have 3 straight amazing drafts where everyone's making impacts year one for the way you team build, and that's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not. It may happen in once every blue moon, but it's not going to happen for you. So that worries me. It just worries me.
Yeah. You got to sign Dak.
Yeah.
It's just so we can free up more cap space. Kind of need to do that immediately.
I think Gallup is going to be their classic post June 1 cut. So that way you make room for your draft day signings.
Yeah, I could. If there is a receiver on the board for our first pick, I could see us going receiver.
Well, and it went up like $30 million the cap.
Yeah.
So you are going to have some money to play with if you want to. I don't know any free agents that
I say Derrick Henry is my top option, and then you draft running back round 3, round 4.
Henry's an option for you. I am a huge fan of going for Grover Stewart from the Colts, Stevens tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Either him or I think it's Jaron Reed. Go get a big fat guy to pair with Mozzie if you don't think T'Vondre Sweat's going to be there at 58.
There's some mocks have been late first.
57. So we'll go sign a big fat guy. All right, just go do it, please. Or give Tom Downey of the Cowboys Report has been saying that they need to give Mozzie a Golden Corral gift card and just go eat go get back and be a big old fat guy, because Zimmer's going to want that. Zimmer's going to want, because Zimmer had Sharif Floyd, and he had, and I cannot remember the other guy's name that he had that was really, really, really big. He likes having a big one tech.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a big one tech on your roster. But some idiot, I don't know if it was Quinn, I don't know if it was one of the Jones boys, I don't know if it was McCarthy, but some idiot decided to have him lose 30 pounds, which that was his best trait, was the fact that...
Page's guy, my gosh.
That one is...
Oh, it's a triple.
He's fast, though. Harris better get that ball in. Yeah, there it is. Okay, he's holding up. Another guy that I actually like on our team, Austin Pruitt. He had a good season with the A's last year. He's pitching right now. I think he could be a guy that you either stash at AAA or he makes the roster. It's potential. Anyway, it just worries me. And then in other draft news, there really has been some. It's Combine. Combine is next week. Starts next week. It starts in March. Starts next week, I believe. And Caleb Williams isn't going to throw. I think I saw Drake May's not going to throw. Marvin Harrison Jr. I hate the fact that they invite these guys. And they're like, well, oh, boy. Oh, no, never mind. Camera angle fooled me. They invite these guys. They're not going to do anything. I think they should do this. We're going to invite 300 so guys to work out and then invite another 50 to not work out. Because there are probably a lot of receivers.
Because what does Marvin Harrison Jr. need to do?
Nothing. But why are you inviting him and he's taking a spot from a receiver that could be at the Combine that maybe teams don't really know about? And hey, this guy catches. I don't like that he's taking a spot from someone else when he's not going to work out. I understand why you're not going to work out. Although I wish these guys would do the 40. I'd love to see MHJ's 40.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why they're not, because if you know you're, in my opinion, the best player in the draft, then why do it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do it and then you tear your ACL? Right? Why do it? You've seen Combine injuries happen. They're usually once every 2 years, roughly. You get like a big one. And usually it's, torn something because it's turf. And that's, you don't want that. And I understand. I know why Williams doesn't want to throw. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm definitely someone I would want to work out for the teams. I'd want to show that I'm willing to do it. But a lot of these guys do their pro day instead of, the Combine, which I understand.
Right.
But not much else for draft news. The other big one was, there's two others. Williams was talking about how he would be okay with Chicago. We'll see. And then Commanders and Patriots. Now, of course, this is teams throw out smoke screens. So I want to preface all of these draft news with this, and I will keep doing this, is people, nice catch, Harris, teams throw out smoke screens. Teams throw out, hey, we really like so-and-so, but they don't. They want the team in front of them or behind them or whoever to think they want that player. That is what happens. You see this all of the time. So could this be a real report? Could it be a smoke screen? I don't know, but it's that the Patriots and Commanders are looking to trade back, which would really be interesting. And I think their logic is this. We can get a quarterback, but if we can get the Raiders to give us another first-round pick next year, more picks this year, why not?
Right.
Why not accumulate?
Are you really going to be a Super Bowl contender this year?
No. And the quarterback's not going to change that. And I think it could. People are already, oh, that's so stupid. Why is it stupid? This is what I want to ask people is think about team building logically. Quit thinking about it, what's going to sell tickets. Quit thinking about it. People think, oh, you have to get the quarterback. You do have to get the quarterback. I agree. You have to get the QB. But if there's a better deal on the table, and not only that, but if you get the good QB, but then you protect your, you protect your mansion with a chain link fence. I mean, if you protect the really expensive car that you have and you don't even put it in the garage, you leave it on the street with the, doors unlocked. I mean, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you have the quarterback, if you don't have the team around him. People are not seeming to understand this. That if you have if you put Caleb Williams on the Commanders right now, he'd get killed. He'd play hero ball. It would stunt his development. I think the only guy that can play in a bad situation is Daniels. I think he's the only guy that really showed poise and the ability to not let a play breaking down make him panic. May and Williams looked panicked a lot more than Daniels ever did, personally. You put May in Washington or New England, he's gonna get killed. New England, he's gonna die. Whoever drafts, I think Zappe should be their week 1 starter. Not because he's the better quarterback, but because you want to protect your young guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just people having team building, thinking this is Madden and you can control everything and everything's fine. And no, it's just not it. So we'll see as we get closer to draft season. I'm getting through my player evaluations. Definitely this week I've done corners. So this is what the board looks like right now. Chase, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of red. I have a key over to the side, to indicate the grade on the player. So far, have really liked all these first-round guys.
You really think Dallas Turner is on a first-round grade?
I don't have a first round on Dallas Turner.
I saw him going like top 7.
Yeah, he's my Tyree Wilson this year,
Okay.
where it's a guy that everyone's overvaluing. You're a 3-year starter for Nick Saban. You got something. I agree. Same thing with Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's a 3-year player for Saban. So I get that, but he has some inconsistencies in his game. He'll make splash plays, and then he will just disappear. He gets washed. There's some problems there. Edge is a weird class this year because, again, from my big board, only look at the guys that have names colored in. If they're white, if it's red, or if it's any color other than white, then I've done a grade on the player. If it's not, they're sorted by college. That's why you see a guy from the Air Force as my 4 spot. He's not the 4th best player in the draft. It's just I haven't looked at him yet. Two good tackles in Fashanu and Alt. Alt is just a lot of fun to watch. Kool-Aid is a good corner, but he's 180 pounds. At least that's what I got off the RAS for Kentley Platt, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Does the relative athletic scores, and it has 180 on there, so he's undersized. Cooper DeJean, no, he's not a safety. People are saying he's the white corner.
Right.
It's going to be a story. I'll go ahead and people are saying, well, he should be a safety. No, he can play press. He can play man. He can play zone. He is he could play safety, sure, but he was also a return guy. Super athletic. I think he's 6'2". He's got a good build. Receivers, obviously, there's MHJ, there's Neighbors, Odunze. A lot of people are higher on Odunze than I am, and I think because Odunze's best trait is his vertical ability, which is fine. And Neighbors is the opposite. He's fine vertically, but he is a speed guy. Neighbors is, I said CeeDee Lamb was his comp. The one for MHJ, I cannot remember. I think I said, who did I say?
Justin Jefferson?
No, I didn't say Justin Jefferson. I can just look it up right here. For MHJ, I said AJ Green, which I think is, MHJ is just a really fun player. Lamb is Neighbors, and then Odunze, I said Devontae Parker. And that's not like he's, not because Parker's not the best receiver, but
current day Devontae Parker.
No, not current day Devontae Parker, but he's definitely a really, really good receiver. I really like Jared Verse from Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
He is a lot of fun. This edge class, I don't like Turner in the top. Okay, I say top of the second, but I will not protest if he sneaks into the back end of the first round, like picks 22 to 32. Like it's not a problem. He's a good player, but I don't think he's like an impact difference maker every single play. Whereas Verse had a little bit more of that explosiveness, and Latu is fun. You know why Latu is fun? Because he had a neck injury a couple years ago. Had to medically retire from football. Done. And then he came back the last 2 years, and at UCLA he looked really, really good.
Yeah.
He's awful in the run game. He was so bad. There was a lot of plays around.
Danielle Hunter is a good comp then.
But I said Danielle Hunter, his pass rushing is off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
It's better than Turner. It's better than Verse. It's probably going to be the best pure pass rushing ability from any edge in the class. But there's just a lot of problems with him in the run game. He plays way too. Verse didn't have this problem, but Turner and Latu both had the same problem. They play too dang high in the run game, and so linemen get leverage, and that's not good. But that's pretty much it for what I've done so far. I've done some of the quarterbacks. See, Bo Nix is way down here. I think at like 74. third round. McCarthy, I have him at 62 in the second round. Turner, the second round. And then everybody else I've done so far is first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So far it's been a pretty good looking class as we dig deeper into the class. But Chase, I don't think there's much else in football.
No.
Unless you can think of anything.
No, I'm sure we'll do a mock here soon.
Yeah, probably after the combine, maybe a week after, we'll probably do another mock as we close into April, and then probably a mock the day before the draft.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just not much else happening else in sports. I don't say it's kind of a dead period, but it's kind of a dead period for at least for me personally, because basketball, I like basketball, but baseball and football are my two favorite sports, and right now it's spring training and not even the good part of the off season yet.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of sitting and waiting for those two sports. And then there's basketball.
Yeah,
there's
watch
hockey.
the Mavs, watch the Stars.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's what we got right now. But yeah, there's not much else. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening. We will talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Yep.